Did y'all eat all your food earlier, Sky? Did you eat all your food? Did you? Good boy. Okay, hold on, buddy. Let me get your bowl and put it over. Alright. Let's go, goats. Let's go. Look. That little boy's doing good. He's walking on all 4 of his legs, isn't he? Hang on a second, Tucker. I'll get you here in a second. I just feed them a little bit in the evenings because they think they need it. And it gives me an opportunity to come out and see them. All right. Tucker, you got like slobber all over your head, buddy. Here, let me give you... Nope. Let me give you your bone, and you go about your merry way. Okay? There you go. Good boy. That was close. You probably couldn't see it on the camera, but he has got slobber on the top of his head. Don't you, buddy? So, I needed to go ahead and give him his little bone. I was going to pet him, but I think I'll wait till tomorrow. So it is the end of the day. Oh, by the way, thank you guys for joining me this evening in this video. And this video is going to be about Titus. The last couple of times that I had him on the channel for any decent length of time, I got some really hateful comments. In the last video, I took him out to the chicken pen, and some people, a few actually, didn't like how I talked about Titus or handled him or something. I really couldn't tell what the problem was, but those of you who follow the channel know that Titus is a stray dog. I've had him since last summer. I was thinking more like July, but it might have been sooner than that. I don't really know exactly which month it was, but I was thinking it was a pretty hot month, and he was in pretty rough shape. He was really thirsty, he was really hungry, and 3 of his feet were swollen. So I have 3 dogs that are abandoned, or were abandoned, and I have this cat who was abandoned, and she's been out here a couple of years now. Ain't that right, kitty? Very sweet kitty. Just showed up, wouldn't have anything to do with me for a full year, and then all of a sudden she loved me, and she follows me. Every video you'll see her following me from a distance or up close or in a tree or bush close by. I've got 4 cats, but this one was the one that was abandoned. 3 I did on purpose. The 4th one was abandoned. Then I have 8 dogs. 8 dogs, and out of those 8 dogs, 3 of them were strayed or abandoned or something like that. I think Maggie and Chester were abandoned. They were together. They were 2 pups. They were about 5, 6 months old together. One day they showed up. They were on the side of the road there, right here. They stayed there overnight. The next morning when I got up to go to work, they were still there, except they had wandered into the middle of the road, and I pulled up and they wouldn't move. They didn't move. I honked, they wouldn't move, and I opened my door to get out to kind of to move them over, and Maggie came around and tried to get in the car with me, and it's like, oh, man. So I threw him in a kennel. What are you doing? Threw him in a kennel and came back and dealt with them later that day, and I've had them ever since. You guys need some water. You need some clean water, don't you, buddy? This is Caleb, Rocky. Back to my story. 8 dogs, 3 of them were either strayed or abandoned, and then the cat. Some of the complaints that I get is that I have too many dogs, or that I ought to train my dogs. Why am I not training my dogs? Why am I upset that Titus was barking at the chickens? What would happen if he got a hold of one of the chickens? What would happen if Maggie got a hold of one of the chickens when I took Maggie out there? Well, Titus is still like a puppy. I have 8 dogs and 1 of me, and the times that people are complaining about me taking them out to the chickens, that's when I'm training them. And I guess I shouldn't be doing that on camera. I thought that, let me dump this. Oh, ducks, y'all are nasty. I thought that, you know, this channel was about showing you my life and what I did and what happened. But for some people, that just isn't working. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. When you see them misbehaving and you see me dealing with them, that's me trying to train them. That's me trying to get them exposed to the chickens so that if they were to get away from me, that they won't get a hold of a chicken. But you know, you don't see the whole session. I cut out video. I'll video an hour, hour and a half, and then cut it down to 40, 30, 20, 25 minutes, something like that. And so you don't see it all. But also keep in mind, 5 dogs, 4 cats, goats, chickens, cows, and 1 me. So, you know, I just do it as I can. Titus is about 1 year old, I would figure. Maggie and Chester are a little over 1 year old. And so they're still really young. They're still really trainable. And so be patient. I'm gonna go up here and turn the water on. So what I was gonna tell you, Titus is the main part of this video today because I had something happen that I never expected to happen. And I was inside the house and I came outside, I don't even remember where I was going. I came outside to do something and I walked out the door and there was a truck parked in front of my house and a man walking up towards my door. So although there's certainly enough traffic out here, there's a whole lot more traffic than I ever thought there would be. It's unusual, it's highly unusual for someone to stop here, someone to talk to me out here. And so this guy walks up and he says, you know, he greets me, "How are you doing?" He says, I was driving by and I noticed your dogs in the backyard. Is it possible, did any of those dogs, were any of them strays? And you know, my heart kind of sunk for a minute because I had Maggie, Chester, Dandy, I think Gertie was out there, and Titus out there. And really I thought that this one's full. I'm gonna put this one over here because they've been drinking over here, which is really weird that they'd come around the fence and drink over here and leave that there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in. While I'm standing out here talking to you, I'm gonna be getting my evening chores done. So I really thought that it was about Maggie and or Chester. And I thought, if it's about, because Chester was in a kennel because I had Titus out there. Titus got into it with Chester and I can't keep them together anymore, so I have one of those little kennels in the backyard, and whenever Titus goes out, which is often, hey buddy, you're not my cat either. What are you doing? Are you hungry? That's the tomcat. He was up there, that's where I feed the cats. He was up there getting him a little snackage, I guess. There he goes, back up there. That's kind of the closest that he's ever let me get. He didn't take off. I guess he felt pretty safe under the building there. Not real sure where I was in the story. I was startled by the cat because I knew Kitty was on the other side of me. It didn't even look like a cat, really. So I'll start where I think I was, and that is, I thought that he might be talking about Maggie, because Chester is in one of those dog kennels. I have one of those, you know, kennels that I kept that goat in, that's up front. I have one in the back, and when Titus goes outside, when it's Titus's turn to go outside and hang out for a while, Chester goes in the kennel, and he doesn't have any problems with that. He sleeps in that kennel. There's straw in that kennel. They both they sleep in there on their own. Like, I don't have to make them go in. That's where they choose to sleep. So it's no big deal for him to go in the kennel. before I get any bad comments. So I thought he saw maybe Maggie, and I thought, man, if he's talking about Maggie, he better be talking about Chester too, because they are attached to each other. I really, really think they came from the same place, that they were litter mates. But, you know, I don't know 100%. They do look different. Chester's brown, Maggie's black and white. They look real similar, but their coloring is way different. And so I thought maybe one of them, but it turns out it was Titus. The guy said, I'm gonna go ahead and take this and fill up the ducks thing and the goats thing. It's hard to do with one hand, getting water everywhere. All right, there we go. He was not talking about Maggie, but he was talking about Titus, and my heart sank. I think I got Titus back in June or July. I was thinking July, but maybe not. It was a really hot day. That's why I was thinking it was July. It was closer to that time frame, like June or July, but it was a really hot day, and I don't know it got that hot in June. Alright, I'm gonna go dump out the goat's water while that's filling up. That is loud. So my heart, man, it just sank. I'm attached to Titus, and I was attached to Titus because first he was over at Mom and Dad's house. He wasn't at my house. He didn't have to stay here. It wasn't one of those things where like Maggie and Chester. I'm attached to them. Like, I really like them a lot. They are really good dogs. They're really, really sweet animals. Very smart, very intelligent. But I was kind of forced. Dude, you made a really big mess in this today, didn't you? I was forced to take them in. Like, they had nowhere to go. A couple of little pups, and it was cold. It was going to get cold. Hey, bud. I know. I'll get you in just a minute. I gotta get some hay. No, you got hay here. I forgot I put it there. I put hay on the ground. No complaining about it. I put hay on the ground. So, anyway, with Maggie and Titus, not Maggie and Titus, sorry. With Maggie and Chester, it was kind of one of the things where I didn't choose them, but they've been around so long that I am attached to them. And when I thought it was them, I was not feeling well. But if it was them, you better move, kitty, rather than like one of them. I would not have sent Maggie without Chester because they are so attached to each other. But if a guy came by and said, I lost 2 dogs, if they could go together, I would have done that. It wouldn't have been easy, but it would have been easier to handle, if that makes sense. Finish filling up this water. Tomorrow is Saturday. Tomorrow is the day that I'm going to come out and clean all of these waters. And I'll put hay in Rocky's hay feeder. This morning, it was cold. Oh, sorry, duck. This morning it was really cold, and so I just threw it over the fence. And I know people aren't gonna like that, but that is what I did. So anyway, I find out it was Titus that he was talking about, and I started asking questions, and we were talking, and he's like, can I go over there and see him? And so I walked over to the side gate with the guy, and I did not open the gate, did not let Titus out. I had let him come get a closer look with me standing there. I was very disappointed. Because I chose to take Titus. I didn't choose. I started to say I didn't choose 8 dogs, but I guess I did. Because I had 7, and then I took in Titus, and I took But I took in Titus after we had taken him to the vet looking for a chip, after I had got on Facebook and got, on the local pages for this area looking for lost dogs, after I'd gone up to the couple of stores that were close by to look and see if there were posters up. And the guy said that he lost him about the end of May. So he said May or early June. Let me put this back over here real fast. Okay, I cannot go anywhere until that's done because I will forget. I am telling you guys a story, I will forget. And you won't be there to call me and remind me to turn the water off. So we're going to stand right here. Almost forgot. We're going to stand right here. So he lost him into May, early June. And he had gotten him, standing there talking to him. He had gotten him as a puppy in December. Last December, And so I told him, I said, look, he has been to the vet several times. I said, he's gone to the vet several times and he had to go to a specialist and I got his shots. And he's like, well, how much do you think all of that was? Like, what do you think that came to? And it's like, great. Like, he's serious about this. I thought, he's a mixed breed. He's cute. He's high maintenance. He's a lot of energy. He sheds a whole lot. But, he's like, what's the total? And so I said, give me a second. And I took Titus out of the backyard and carried him inside the house. I said, I'll be right back. And I went inside and called Dad and told him what was going on. And Dad came over, and when the guy went to introduce himself to Dad, we recognized the last name. And turns out that we know people in his family. He's a nephew of one of my mom's close friends, actually. And we know several. We have several. He's got family members all around this area, and we just happen to know them. And a lot of them through church. So that in itself, it felt better. It helped me feel a little bit better about it, but it sure didn't fix things, because I had invested everything in Titus, not just money, and Dad did too. Dad helped with a lot of the vet bills. And that's one of the reasons I called Dad over, is because he liked Titus too. He wanted me to have Titus too, and he had money invested in Titus, so I didn't know what was the right thing to do. And it was really conflicting with what I was feeling, like what I thought. I felt like it was his dog. He answered questions, and things just lined up, and I felt like Titus was his dog. And at some point, I asked the guys, it's been several months. It's been 7 months, something like that. We're in the beginning. This is January 3rd, and we don't know the exact day. Kind of know the month, kind of know the season, the time that it happened. I asked him, I said, why? And he also talked about his other dog. He's got quite a few other dogs. I mean, it's not the only thing he's got going on. He explained that Titus was outside. When he was a puppy, he was inside, and then the guy's gone a lot and to appointments and different things, and so Titus went outside and hung out with their livestock guardian dogs. He has cattle and land and stuff like that, and Titus had always hung around their house. Of course, he didn't call him I don't remember. What did he say the name was? I asked him what his name was. I don't remember what the name was. But anyway, he said that Titus hung out with his livestock guardian dogs, and he just thought that, the way that livestock guardian dogs wander, they do. That's why I take Caleb in at night, because he'll jump the fence at night and wander. And so at nighttime, I take Caleb in and put him in the garage. That is not what he's supposed to be doing. He is supposed to be watching my goats, my bucks, and it kind of defeats the purpose. But what do you do? Like, okay, I know what a lot of people do. They get rid of them or whatever. But I've had him for 6 years, and he used to not do this since I moved out here. And I guess it was just the newness of the animals, and it's open out here, and I come from wooded. So what do? I'm attached to him. I've had him 3 years, and he starts getting out. You take him and you put him in the garage and bring him back out in the mornings. Anyway, he thought that since his livestock guardian dogs they roam his property. He's got cattle, that Titus took off with them and just didn't come back. And he said he really thought that maybe the coyotes had gotten him. And I asked him, I said, well, after a conversation, I said, what makes you want him now? Like, all this time has passed and you see him in my backyard and you stop. What makes you stop? What makes you want him now? Because he told me he's got other dogs. And he said, we've missed him. We missed the little guy. And he said, of course, he was quite a bit smaller when he left, but he's cute and we miss him. In the story, he started to say something about his wife and his kids, but it had nothing to do with Titus. He was telling us, I said, oh, you got kids. He's got kids, And so I knew right then that I was going to hand Titus over to him. And I asked him, I said, because we talked, Dad was there, and we talked about the coyotes. We have a lot of coyotes out here. And they assumed that the coyotes had gotten him. So we had that discussion, and I said, so are you, and he had been inside before, and then he put him outside, and then he wandered off and thought the coyotes got him. I said, so are you going to be able to keep him inside? Because the last thing I want to do, I want to do what's right. I want to do what's right for them first, and then for the dog, and then for me. But if he's gonna take the dog and put it right back out in the same situation, and Titus get torn up by coyotes. I see this guy around and I say, hey, how's Titus doing? And he tells me that he's dead or he's gone again or whatever. That wouldn't have settled well with me. And I said, so are you going to be able to keep him inside? And because they don't have a fence, right? I have a fence over here. They don't have a fence. And he said, well, I was just thinking about that. No, there's no way that we can keep him inside because I'm gone out of the house a lot. He said, and so I think that it would probably be better if he stayed here with you. He said, though, as long as he could stop by every once in a while and give Titus a milk bone or something. And I told him, oh, sorry about that, Titus. I stepped on him. That's how I told him, that's fine. But when I'm here, and when I'm not here, he's inside. But I'm here a lot. And he's going to have to bring a lot of milk bones. He can't just give one milk bone out. It's going to have to be for whoever's out here at that time. He loves being outside. Maggie is his favorite dog. He loves the bigger dogs. He gets along better with the bigger dogs, except for Chester. And actually, him and Chester got into a little scuffle, and Chester's over it, but Titus is not. And whenever I let Chester out, Titus attacks Chester. Of course, Chester's not going to have any choice but to defend himself. Maybe I can fix that at some time. I don't know. But until then, Chester stays in this kennel while Titus is out here. And then when Titus is inside, which is a lot, Chester's outside. Aren't you, buddy? And you want to come out. You want some attention. And there's Maggie. Hey, Gertie. Boy. Hi. So, one of the bad comments that I got one time on a video, one of the times that I had Titus on the video, was about his bark. And they left like a long paragraph about how annoying his bark is. I don't even remember what all it said, besides his bark was so annoying. It's worse than fingernails on a chalkboard or something like that. And I'm thinking, we'll move on, click on, next video, something. But There it is. He is loud. He is rambunctious. He's a handful. But you know what? I know what breed I know what they were told when they got him. I don't know if they purchased him or they picked him up or was gifted him or whatever. But I asked him, and he only lives 1.5 miles down the road. He knows where I live, but I don't know where he lives. But I know what vehicle drives. I know what he looks like. I asked him, what kind of dog is he? And he's, hi, kitty. Hi. Hey, what kind of kitty are you? Are you a good kitty? Yeah. Anyway, he said that the people that they got him from, said that he was part husky. And a lot of people in the comments said he was part husky. And I said he was part husky. The other half, he was supposed to be blue heeler, husky blue heeler. And then he looks at him, as he's his full size now. He's just a little bit over a year old, just a year and a month or something like that, or 2 months. He said, but he doesn't look like blue heeler. He's like, I'm wondering if he doesn't have some Chihuahua thrown in there somewhere, because he's not real. He's 23 pounds. He's not really blue heeler size, and he's not husky size, so there has to be something else. I said I know what the previous owner, he's mine now for good. I know what the previous owner was told. I was thinking about one of those DNA kits. Leave down in the comment section what you think about those DNA kits. Because they cost money, I went and did some research on it, and I saw all kinds of things, all kinds of bad reviews and good reviews and everything in between. I even saw where a news channel had done a little study on it, and some of them more reliable than others, but they're really limited on what they can come up with in the DNA. So let me know what you think down below in the comments. Have you had experience with the dog DNA? Do you know someone? Have you heard something? Have you done the research? Tell me what you think. Should I get his DNA? If I do that, if I was to take a DNA test and let's say it was right, like, do you think he's husky blue heeler, or do some of you think that he's still husky shepherd, which he's a small dog. He's full grown at 23 pounds. Husky beagle Chihuahua, husky heeler Chihuahua. Tell me what you think. Thank you guys for watching. Be nice in those comments, and we will see you on the next video. Hey bud, you want out? Good boy. Good boy. Chester and Maggie. Good girl. They love each other. I just had a scary thought. What if he goes home tonight and tells his wife and his kids that he found the dog, and that he told them, and that he told me that I could keep it, and they want the dog, and he comes back tomorrow or the next day and asks me if he could have it?